My name is Sangeetha Chandru. I lead the retail and CPG verticals globally for EXL. And EXL is the largest AI and analytics pure play firm in the world. Customers have really been at the forefront of pushing organizations towards technology innovation, right? Technology innovation. And some of the biggest areas where we are seeing sort of customer experience evolving in retail. One is around redefining the overall shopping experience. Today, we have more of an omni-channel or all-channel experience with commerce on multiple mediums happening for customers versus in the past where you actually had to go into a brick and mortar store. And that customer experience transformation is creating a lot of opportunity on how we interact with customers and how we understand their shopping behaviors. So one of the big areas of focus is in enabling an all-commerce experience for customers overall. Generative AI is a true democratization, and access to customers and businesses alike to understand data, to access data, to be able to drive insights. So one of the areas where generative AI can be incredibly helpful is being able to create personalized experiences for customers. Today, customers are a sample set of one. They are no more a big cohort or a demographic that we are trying to attract. We are trying to speak one-on-one with the customer so that we can get their behavior towards our brand. And so that's probably the biggest shift that I'm starting to see from a customer experience standpoint. And I'm going to go back to a little bit towards the basics here. One of the biggest challenges that I see within retail when it comes to data is the fact that the data foundations are still quite weak. Most of the time you see retailers focused on the AI/ML applications, really building out, cool solutions. But if your foundation from a data standpoint is weak, it's very difficult for you to be able to execute something at scale. So when it comes to Gen AI, it's quite similar, to other AI solutions. You need a very strong data foundation. So one of the big things that I would advise clients on is to focus on data engineering, to build unified data foundations, where you're basically unifying all of your various data assets within the organization. And retailers, more than any other industry, have the most disparate sources of data within their environment. They have very complex technology ecosystems, which haven't necessarily been simplified yet. So you're going to need something that stitches all of your data together so that you can truly execute things at scale. And that's going to be the most important litmus test. Not that if you're able to run a tiny POC, are you actually able to do something at an enterprise level? And so I would say that probably is the biggest challenge that I'm seeing. And most importantly, this is the solution to that challenge. This is probably, we are at a true tipping point when it comes to the use of data within retailers. Retailers have some of the largest first-party data of customers. So you'd see that there is a huge move towards what we call retail media networks. That is the ability for a retailer to be able to leverage the first-party data that they have and work with their CPG partners or brands in creating campaigns and promotional material that truly resonates with the customer, right? And then drives, again, behavior towards the brand. RMN is slated to be a $100 billion business by 2026. So the opportunity from an incremental revenue standpoint is enormous for retailers. So the leverage of first-party data, I'd say, is probably one of the most important things. And then treating your data as a product. How do you monetize that? And more importantly, we are slowly going to move into a world where there are zero cookies. So there isn't going to be a whole lot of third-party data, available to us to access. So even more so that the first-party data becomes important. So I'd say that's probably one of the biggest commercial opportunities there are. The second thing is to be able to truly harness insights in terms of consumer behavior and create products and services that are resonant to the consumer. There's a great opportunity to do that now, much more so than before, simply because we understand the customer better now. First, again, I would go a bit back to the basics that I was talking about. I do think that fixing the foundation is very, very important. And on top of that foundation, to be able to build something that can help the organization move with velocity towards addressing some of the more pressing consumer needs and demands, I think that is your business case right there. I do think that from a generative AI standpoint, like I said before, there is a democratization that's happening around Gen AI. Why is Gen AI so important? Is because it is simplifying our ability to be able to access data and act on data. And so the accessing data today sits with a very few people within an organization, people that truly understand how to be, they understand the technical aspects of data, they understand data science. So those are the folks that today have access. With Gen AI, that's not going to be the case anymore. So using natural language processing, using LLMs, we are able to now query data in a very human way and get an extremely human response in return. And that allows business leaders to be able to move swiftly, which I think is a true differentiator. So that is a business case for business leaders to really, with open arms, just start to ask for Gen AI interventions within their business, because it's going to be a game changer for them. I do think it's going to lead to more efficiencies. One of the ways in which generative AI is going to become more efficient, so if you think about a traditional retail store today, imagine tomorrow that they have, depending on any kind of industry, whether it's a grocer, whether it's fashion or accessories or any others, for them to be able to have the tools at their disposal, where they can ask a question and answer the question for the customer on the floor. I think that kind of an interaction is going to truly enhance the experience. Beyond that, I don't think we would need as many, people as well. So there is going to be some labor efficiency that comes from generative AI, which is going to be important. And it's not necessarily to reduce the number of, the amount of labor in the stores, but rather to redeploy them into customer-facing activities. Today, to a large extent, if I go into a grocer, one of the biggest complaints customers have is that no one's making eye contact with me, no one's helping me out. That has to change. That customer experience aspect has to change, and that can only happen if we free them up from rote tasks. And I think Gen AI can really help them do that.